4 News now at 6. 2 Spokane homeless shelters are under new management in a whirlwind of fraud, criminal allegations, and lack of oversight. Who's tackling the issue everyone's talking about? Clearing Camp Hope.
Well, the next round of rain is already on the way. I'll show you when it gets here, plus some changes to the forecast this weekend.
New body camera footage shows the moments before Spokane police shot and killed a man holding a young child. You're watching 4 News now at 6.
A big shakeup to local shelters has some people questioning the city's ability to really tackle homelessness and protect your money. 2 local shelters are now under new management. The change comes as the Guardians Foundation is under fire for fraud, embezzlement, and a criminal investigation is underway. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Aaron Luna. The city says it can't trust the Guardians Foundation anymore. It wants taxpayers to have confidence in the organization now in charge of the Cannon Shelter and Trent Resource Center. Esther Bauer is live at the Trent Shelter tonight with who that is and their goals for the future. Esther.
Well, the Salvation Army now runs this shelter. They're taking over immediately, so the people sleeping here right now don't end up back on the streets or back at Camp Hope. The city says they noticed numerous irregularities with the Guardians Foundation.
Over the last few weeks, we as staff, in discussions with the mayor, there's just something that wasn't right.
The organization taking care of the homeless couldn't manage their own finances.
We looked at this harder, and what we found is that there was the inability to maintain accurate records to account for expenditures and performance, which are terms that are very clear in the contract.
That contract now terminated with the Salvation Army taking over.
Our goals are still the same, to help people move forward. If they have addiction issues, we deal with that. If they have just regular life issues, we deal with that.
Some city council members still aren't convinced controversy won't strike again.
I'm just really concerned about why did we get to this spot in the first place, and what can we do to assure the public that we will never be in this spot again, because I just don't know if I'm there that I don't think it will happen again.
We will continue to improve our systems to make sure that taxpayers' dollars are protected.
A criminal investigation is still underway with allegations of fraud and embezzlement of a former Guardians employee tasked with using taxpayer money for good, now smeared in scandal. As a new provider steps in, the city hopes it can help the homeless find housing. And Major Ken Perrine was just on site here at the shelter. I spoke with him just moments ago. He says he really wants this to be a seamless transition for both the people living here and the current staff. They are planning a staff meeting in the very near future. And he also tells us they plan to keep on as many employees as they can moving forward. Reporting live in East Spokane, Esther Bauer, 4 News now.
Esther, thank you. Remember yesterday I was worried about the wind today messing up my hair?
Yes,
I'm happy to report that didn't happen.
Mine was blowing in the wind, though, when we saw each other in the parking lot, and our meteorologist, Matt Gray, was there for both conversations. I'm sorry, Matt.
Yes, and we're going to kind of pivot from windy weather, and which will continue through the rest of your evening, towards wet weather once again. Sure was nice to see that sunshine today, though. But we got another system moving into the coast, and just a little bit of that moisture is going to get across the mountains and will impact your Friday. Let's take a look now. Down to the 40s now in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. It doesn't look all that fun on I-90 through Coeur d'Alene right now, but the sunset sure is beautiful as we look at our camera facing upwards into the sky over southwest Spokane. All right, so for this evening, 40s continue, and we'll gradually see that cloud cover kind of spread across the region as that moisture tries to push across the mountains that I showed you on the radar. Now, as for the overnight hours, most of us are going to stay dry, but if you live at the foot of the Cascades and you're watching from there tonight, you are probably going to hear a little bit of rain on the roof in those kind of post-midnight, pre-sunrise hours. Now, as far as when and how long the rain is going to impact us, I'll show you that coming up in your forecast in a few minutes.
Matt, thank you. This is newly released body camera video from January. It shows the moments before Spokane police shot and killed 23-year-old Peterson Camo while he was holding a child. Officers say Camo was holding the child hostage at knife point. Earlier, Spokane police held a briefing on the shooting. Officers say they believed Camo was trying to stab the child, and they were out of time.
And they explain what took place before officers used deadly force on Camo, killing him. New at 6 tonight, Bronte Sorotsky explains what they say led to police using deadly force on this man.
Body camera footage from January 24th of this year show officers arriving to a home in Spokane about a call of a domestic dispute. By the end, the child was safe and Peterson Camo was dead. Just a warning, some of this video may be hard to watch. We're not showing the moment that Camo was shot. In January, Spokane police arrived to a hectic scene. After hearing the woman scream, Captain Tom Hendren with SPD says officers on scene saw Peterson Camo inside the door of his home, holding a child as well as a knife. Captain Hendren read part of Officer Corrigan Mohandro's statement.
In his statement, he explained, quote, "I saw him suddenly raise a knife from down at his side and point it toward the child and start yelling," end quote.
He says Camo then went up the stairs. When reading the statement of Officer Mohandro, he says he believes he saw Camo dump fuel onto the ground.
Had Camo lit a fire on the second level of the residence where he had fled, it could have eliminated nearly if not all possibility for myself or other officers to reach him and the child, end quote.
Captain Hendren says the fuel was the reason they could not use a taser on Camo. When officers moved up the stairs, they said they could see the knife in Camo's hand, moving towards the child's head, and Corporal Brandon Lynch decided to use deadly force.
Hey, chill out, man. Chill out, man. According to his statement, quote, "I was out of time and any hesitation or delay whatsoever would undoubtedly result in a knife being stuck in the side of the child's head. The knife was closing in on the child's head while still on the move. I pointed my rifle near the male, briefly oriented my red dot sight to make sure that the child was not in it and pressed the trigger."
The first round did not hit Camo or the child. Corporal Lynch fired 2 more rounds. They say they were scared Camo would kill the child and had no choice but to use deadly force, killing him.
Officers were able to retrieve the child, who was unharmed, and remove the child from the residence. Officers then immediately transitioned into providing first aid on the suspect.
Camo was taken to the hospital where he died. I spoke with Bill Gilbert, the family's lawyer, who tells me no lawsuit has been filed yet. He says he's waiting for police policy and procedure experts to weigh in on any potential wrongdoings on the officers' parts. Live in studio, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Bronte, thank you. 2 people are hurt, and state police are saying drugs or alcohol may have played a role in a crash in Ferry County. Washington State Police say the crash happened on Highway 395 south of Barstow Bridge near Kettle Falls around 1 o'clock this morning. They say a woman was going the wrong direction when she hit another driver head on. And this photo released by WSP shows how bad the crash really was. Officers say both vehicles were totaled. The crash left both lanes blocked for several hours overnight. They say the driver was arrested and not wearing her seatbelt and is now facing a vehicular assault charge.
A meeting is happening right now to discuss the Sullivan Road interchange at Trent in Spokane Valley. There's still time for you to chime in. An open house is going on until 7 o'clock. And that is at East Valley Middle School. They're going to discuss 4 different design alternatives. The city says it has $3 million secured for the project. That only funds about 60% of it. The city still needs to secure more state and federal funding. The reconstruction project will likely take several years to complete.
A 3-year-long wait list for low-income housing in Spokane is the result of a perfect storm, and now our community is in dire need of relief. That's coming up.
Plus, our sports director Julian Minensone joins us live from Martin Stadium in Pullman. One Wazoo player will be key if the Cougars want to upset the Utes.
And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We want to share one woman's story, how regular mammograms helped her to be cancer-free. That's still ahead.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
You'll love saving your green at Jennifer's.
This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. Game day. No, game days. more than you can count. And at Turf Club Sportsbook, we've got all the action with real sports betting, wall-to-wall HD TVs, and luxury seating. Just off the casino floor at Northern Quest, so you can bet, watch, and win on every game day. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer, only at Northern Quest.
Long ago, Patty Murray said,
I believe that there's a place for real people in government.
Then Murray went to this Washington, the place of 30-year career politicians, record inflation, extreme gridlock. It's time for change. Tiffany Smiley, nurse, mom of 3, military wife, and veterans advocate. 30 years is long enough. It's Tiffany's time for real change. ESA Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
It's time for 4 News Now, Coats for Kids. Just drop off new or gently used coats at any of our sponsored locations. We'll bring them to Alsco for professional cleaning, then get them out to local children in need. Donate to Coats for Kids through October 31st.
Hello, I'm Denver Toon. Jewelry Design Center is very proud and excited to partner with 4 News Now's Coats for Kids this fall. So stop by the store, help your community, and donate to those in need. You can also get your free jewelry cleaning and inspection while you're here.
If you're looking to score big on the best lineup of certified used or new SUVs and trucks just in time for the winter months, plus get up to 60 months low interest financing, then come on down to Finley for a touchdown of savings.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion, Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers and I approve this message.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. You'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
Washington State football returns to the field tonight with a big-time matchup against number 14 Utah.
4 News Now Sports Director Julian Minnesone joins us live from Martin Stadium to tell us about one Wazoo player who will be key if the Cougs want to upset the Utes.
Washington State linebacker Deion Henley spent his bye week at the movies. He saw The Rock's new superhero movie, Black Adam. Now, Henley didn't necessarily give it the best review, but it got me thinking. Just like The Rock in that movie, Henley needs to be a superhero if the Cougs want to win. Washington State has one of the best defenses in the Pac-12, and Henley is right in the middle of it all. He leads the team in tackles and sacks, so it's safe to say if Henley is good, Washington State is good. And Henley is looking for a superhero performance tonight, and he is well aware of the task at hand.
One thing that stands out is that they have a tough quarterback. He takes the hits, he rolls with the punches, and he delivers the ball well. Specifically that Utah versus USC game, the standout player was the tight end. He stood out, a lot of receptions, crazy amount of yardage. He stood out amongst the rest of the team, and he just had a heck of a performance. Outside of that, great running backs. Seen a tough run from one of the running backs. Got a touchdown, so a lot of contact balance by him. So we're going to have to deliver a punch, and those are the things we kind of saw for the most part. But like I said, overall, good team, and we'll be ready for them because we have a good team as well.
And this game is huge for a number of reasons, but maybe the most significant, Washington State just 2 wins away from becoming bowl eligible. And if they win tonight against Utah, they'd get another step closer to extending their season. Live in Pullman, Julian Minnesone for News Now Sports.
And the weather in Pullman, just about picture perfect. The winds have calmed down a little bit on the Palouse, and the temperatures are in the mid-40s as we get closer to kickoff time. Looking pretty nice there. Tomorrow, well, it'll be a little bit different as we see some wet weather try to make its way back into the forecast. Plus, I got some changes for the weekend that I think you'll like. Coming up.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Chewelah Casino.
The more I learn about Tiffany Smiley, the more worried I get.
Tiffany Smiley has said that it would be awesome to have Donald Trump support. Donald Trump is far from awesome.
She questioned the integrity of the 2020 election.
Come on. Smiley promised Mitch McConnell that she would flip control of the Senate to him.
They could rig the courts with more extreme judges.
She could give Mitch McConnell the power to pass a nationwide abortion ban.
That's horrible.
The more you learn about Tiffany Smiley, the worse it gets.
Women voters responsible for the content of this advertising.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
My dad was a World War II veteran. The promise we make to veterans to care for them when they return home is personal to me. I've brought senators from both parties together to increase benefits, help more veterans find homes and good jobs, and hold the VA accountable to give veterans the excellent care they deserve. I'm Patty Murray, and I approve this message because I'll never stop standing up for Washington's veterans.
It's time for change. It's time to heal the division in our state. As a representative of the people, I will fight for free enterprise and protect small business from the overreaching runaway government. I feel strongly that my skills and experience developed from my professional career are desperately needed in Olympia. It's time for less overreach and more freedom. I'm Suzanne Schmidt for 4th District Representative, Republican.
Are you ready for a GMA party live? Tomorrow, GMA's taking you to Florida A&M for an HBCU tailgate you'll never forget. The FAMU party is on.
Time to take a peek into what is next. We'll start off with this wonderful time lapse from our camera today with the sun going down. It was nice to see that sunshine today, and the clouds gradually going to spread out across the region again as we head into tomorrow. Man, really nice to have a beautiful fall day, and the trees are finally starting to turn now in many areas. So what a wonderful day it has been, or at least for the afternoon. Now, it is going to be pretty mild tonight, so you probably won't have to turn up the heat too much. Only down into the low 40s as the cloud cover acts like its own heater insulating blanket across the region as that moisture creeps ever closer to us. Still some chilly spots as you get away from the I-90 corridor, though. 30 in Colville tonight, Sandpoint down to 33, 32 in Winthrop, Pullman in the mid-30s tonight, 40s for Lewiston, though, and St. Mary's down into the middle 30s. Let's take you through the next round of wet weather, which is pushing across the mountains right now. This is about 3 in the morning, and you can see across the Okanagan and the Methow Valley, starting to see that wet weather make its push in. Now, let's get into the afternoon. This is about noon, and you can see that some moisture finally pushes its way across, and it's not going to be a lot, and it's not going to last for very long. It may just be a light little drizzle for maybe an hour, could be even far less than that, but when it comes across, it's going to be right during the lunchtime hour. Bonners Ferry south into the Spokane area at noon and down to the Tri-Cities. As it continues to the south, it'll gradually fade away. So not a ton of moisture with this one. And that rain shadow effect in central Washington going to keep us dry there. We'll probably have better luck with the next storm, which will be by the end of the weekend if you are waiting, or rather still waiting, for a little bit of rain in your neighborhood. As for the day, really just got to keep an eye on the skies for the middle of the day. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Do think we'll get a little bit of sun that'll peak out very late in the afternoon. Temperatures again going to be up in the 50s, so nice seasonal temperatures. We should generally be in the low 50s for this time of the year. Got some 60s on the board too. Moses Lake, Wenatchee, Grand Coulee, and Lewiston all getting into the 60s on Friday, and we are going to head off into the Halloween weekend. Let's fast forward and show you, get to Saturday and show you kind of what we're looking at. Saturday going to be a pretty nice day for most of us. However, there is going to be enough moisture still hanging around at the southern end of our area. The places like the LC Valley, around the Palouse, south into the Camas Prairie, might see a shower or two pop up in the afternoon. It'll be just unstable enough to get a couple of things going. I believe we're going to stay dry around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Now, the next storm comes in for Sunday. Once again, we should be mostly dry for most of the day, but as we head towards, say, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we'll start to see that rain begin to get its way across the Cascades, and then it is off to the races from there, as we expect it to be a wet Sunday night and a fairly wet Monday, at least most of Monday. We'll still have to see what's going on by trick-or-treat time. I think we might be able to wrap things up by then. And then cooler weather after that. We'll say goodbye to the 50s for a while, and we'll start to see 30s. And yes, I put our first 20s on the board. We'll see how that plays out in the days to come, but just something to be aware of for next week.
All right, thanks, Matt. All across the U.S., many hospitals are feeling the strain of children flooding and the hospitals and the healthcare facilities.
The spike in pediatric patients blamed on a perfect storm of RSV, the flu, and COVID-19. Pediatric hospital beds in 9 states, including Idaho, are already above 80% capacity. 5 states are at 90% or higher. RSV cases are surging in young children. One Utah mom says when her baby was diagnosed, the symptoms worsened at an alarming rate.
Probably the course of like 2 hours, she'd gone from like being our normal baby to she was on a respirator.
Doctors worry hospitals could see even more of an impact as we move into colder weather. RSV can be especially dangerous for infants. Doctors say parents should know the signs of respiratory distress, like flaring of the nostrils, fast, short, or labored breathing, or a change in skin color because of lack of oxygen.
And warnings about a potential winter surge in COVID-19 cases have done little to encourage more Americans to get the updated booster shot. Less than 10% of the population ages 5 and up have gotten the updated shot.
The first and most important thing people can do is go out and get vaccinated, because that will keep people, kids, adults, everybody out of the hospital at very high rates.
According to a study by the Commonwealth Fund published earlier this month, if more people in the U.S. get their booster by the end of the year, about 90,000 COVID-19 deaths could be prevented this fall and winter. Coming up on 4 News Now, new Washington legislation creates around 13,000 new voters this year. They're getting ready to vote during the midterms. That's coming up on 4 News Now.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
What's the only thing better than one Pint House Burgers and Brews? How about 2? We are now open in the Spokane Valley. The same great sports and music videos, friendly staff and servers, gourmet burgers and ice-cold brews. Pint House Burgers and Brews, now open in the Spokane Valley.
You hear stories every single day of people being mugged or shot.
I've been accosted by homeless people and drug addicts.
It is absolutely not safe.
We're lifelong Democrats.
I have voted for Patty Murray many times.
At least 5 times.
But I just can't do it this time.
We're voting for Tiffany Smiley.
Vote Tiffany Smiley.
Tiffany Smiley is the right person for the job.
She gives me hope.
I'm Tiffany Smiley, and I approve this message.
The nonstop sirens. This is why you don't vote for Patty Murray. It never used to be like this.
Providence has been focused on meeting the needs of the community for over 160 years. And we are honored to bring you top-rated Medicare Advantage coverage. Providence plans start at just $0 and include dental, hearing, and vision. Experience the difference of a community of care, united by compassionate coverage. Providence. Join us as we make communities stronger by building true health together.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground.
It was just heartbreaking.
Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond. She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
In America, we have a pressure from every quarter trying to destroy the opportunity for people to be able to build their own futures. We see an economy that has gone from the strongest economy that we have seen to one in which we have raging inflation. Our borders must be protected. We are seeing unprecedented entry, 2 million illegal entries, with the drugs and the violence that comes with it. I'm going to fight to make sure that we stop those problems. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message.
What do you get when ice-cold beer, gourmet burgers, sports, and the Pint House brand come together? Good times. That's right. Pint House Burgers and Brews is now open at the former Good Times Pub location in the Spokane Valley. It will always be good times at the new Valley Pint House Burgers and Brews.
4 News Now is brought to you by Pinot's Palate.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The American College of Radiology reports mammogram screenings are down by more than 63% compared to before the pandemic. Today, we want to share one inspiring story.
The story about how regular mammograms helped one woman in Spokane beat cancer. Peter Choi has that story.
2 years ago, one woman was diagnosed with breast cancer at this hospital. She tells me the annual mammogram screenings helped her catch the cancer early. She's now a cancer survivor, and she says she's enjoying every second of her life.
It was just like another normal day. Missy Kuhn still remembers the phone call she got with the result of her annual mammogram.
I think it was a Friday, and it just froze me for a moment.
In 2020, she was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer.
It's a lump that I would have never found because it was on my rib wall. So to find that would have been, I don't know how big it would have been before I found it without going through breast mammograms. So mammograms saved my life, basically, before it was too big and beyond cure.
After multiple surgeries during the pandemic, she's now celebrating her 2-year anniversary of life without cancer.
These boxing gloves on and rang the bell with my boxing gloves on, so I kind of was like, here's my fight, and I got it, and I won.
She says she wouldn't have been able to battle it if it wasn't for medical support from the local hospital and her family.
I wanted her to know that things that I couldn't say, so I put them on paper. Don't know why I can't say them, but that's what I would do. I just wanted to make sure that she knew I had her back and that I was here and that I was thinking about her.
She now wants to spread breast cancer awareness to encourage more women to get regular screenings. In Spokane, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
A new law went into effect in January of this year. Felons in Washington state will be able to vote this November. The Department of Corrections says new legislation means around 13,000 people can take part if they choose, and the new law will continue to impact more people year after year. Julie Calhoun reports.
I was actually incarcerated at the age of 17.
Cyril Walrond spent 17 years incarcerated and released August 1st.
The very next day to register to vote and to vote in the primaries, really gave me a sense of connectivity within my community, where I realized that it's not about just talking and having all these different opinions, but really I'm making my voice and my vote count.
Walrond worked for that day even inside prison, working with organizations like the Voting Rights Restoration Coalition.
We have an opportunity of making sure that our voices are heard and that we are doing the things that are necessary, to make sure all of our lives, are being, represented. That's what true equity looks like.
Under the new law that went into effect January of this year, it automatically restores voting rights to people who have been released from prison after committing felonies, even if they're on parole, meaning thousands will get the chance to vote for the first time.
The shift is that we're moving away from the kind of forever labeling people that have past convictions and treating folks as outcasts for the rest of our lives or their lives to welcoming people home when they get released.
Christopher Poulos with the Department of Corrections knows how that feels. He served 3 years in federal prison and says the ability to vote reduces recidivism.
When people do really feel included, the chances are that they're going to act the same way and act positively in our communities.
And a full circle moment for Walrond, helping others cast their ballot.
Just feeling so empowered in that moment and just hoping that others who are also system impacted are able to feel empowered by the opportunity of voting as well.
When filling out your ballot this election season, 4 News Now is dedicated to ensuring you have all the resources to make an informed decision. In Washington, the race for U.S. Senate is being closely watched. Republican Tiffany Smiley is taking on Democratic incumbent Patty Murray in a Seattle town hall this Sunday. You can watch that right here on 4 News Now, or you can stream it on KXLY.com or KXLY Plus. That starts at 5 o'clock. And for everything else you need to know this election season, including a complete voter guide, head to KXLY.com/forthepeople. A perfect storm has been brewing over the past several years as people pack into the inland Northwest. The harsh housing reality those with low income are facing in Spokane. That's coming up.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word.
I think we should hire more people.
Doc, I'm late for a meeting.
I'm thinking of starting my own practice.
Do it. Too much capital.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We should knock that wall down and expand.
Do it. There's always another wall beyond the wall.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Here at the Meade School District, energy management, it's been something that's been on the rise as far as what's important to us. The reason why is, as the budget continues to shrink, we need to do more with less. Yeah, I love Avista. They've been really great to work with. When I have energy efficiency ideas, I get in touch with my rep. They'll go back to their project managers and to the engineers. Avista does a really great job of telling you what the simple payback will be of any of the projects, and then you can make an educated decision on whether you want to move forward.
92.9 CCU.
You already know that free Camus Rewards let you earn and redeem points everywhere at Northern Quest. But did you know that everywhere includes the all-new East Pan Asian cuisine and Neon Pizza? Plus, you'll enjoy our new weekday happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. You'll even save 10 cents a gallon at our Kalispell Chevrons. And new Camus Rewards members can win up to $2,022 in reward play instantly. Only at Northern Quest. Yes, the best.
It's the Cal Superstore Triple Play of the Week, where not only can you get tricked out vehicles for less, but now you can delay all payments until next year. Get a minimum $2,000 trade-in value plus a 2-year service maintenance program.
Next, ET, we're at the Black Panther Wakanda Forever premiere.
I think we've done it absolute justice.
Plus, Gwen Stefani talks Blake Shelton's post-voice plans.
We're pretty excited.
Then,
everything you do is weird. Okay.
Daniel Radcliffe on his Weird Al transformation as ET's Halloween week visits Daniel's magical stomping grounds. Next, ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
Well, right now, the wait list for low-income housing in Spokane County is 3 years.
Well, that's due in part to global pandemic, a growing homeless population, and skyrocketing rents. And the community is in dire need of relief. KXLY's Jordan Smith in studio with the details as people pack into Spokane County.
Well, as you mentioned, this is the result of a perfect storm brewing over the past several years. Those with low income are facing a scary reality when it comes to housing here in Spokane County. It's a new day, but the same old story. Spokane's housing crisis continues its daunting reign.
But we saw after COVID that rents skyrocketed. In the last 3 years, we've seen rents increase by over 50%.
According to rent data, the fair market rent prices in Spokane are more expensive than nearly 90% of other FMRs in the country. The average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment, roughly $1,300. Those high rent prices restrict many prospective renters, though none more than those with extremely limited income.
And so then people can't afford their rent and they end up on the streets.
But what are their options from there? The line to access low-income housing has reached an unsustainable length. Stuckert says the ideal wait time would be about 3 months, but that's not the case here.
You know, we have 3-year wait lists for low-income housing in Spokane.
Meaning if you qualified today, it would be October of 2025 before you could move in. He says there's simply not enough housing supply for those with limited income. To alleviate this situation, the county would have to double the current amount of options they have.
We have a need for about 7,000 apartments, low-income apartments in our community right now. About 7,000 or 8,000, so we need to double what we've produced.
So how is the county assisting this problem? We learned that since 2020, Spokane County has been awarded over $57 million in rental assistance relief. So far, they've received $41 million of those awarded funds. $37 million have been deployed towards rental assistance to roughly 6,000 households. 50% has gone towards assisting those categorized as extremely low income. And Stucker tells me whatever money they receive from the federal government and state is extremely useful and is being spent as quickly as possible to alleviate this issue, but it remains an uphill battle for the time being. In studio tonight, I'm Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Taking a live look over Spokane. We had a wonderful sunset tonight. We will be continuing to kind of watch the changes in our weather after a pretty nice Thursday. Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Matt Gray filling in for Chris this evening. And if you're just joining us, what a wonderful day. But the rain is coming back into the forecast, and you can see already the storms gathering and the rain gathering out to our west. And not all of that moisture is going to cross the mountains as we head to tonight and tomorrow, but at least a little bit of it is, and we're confident enough in that we're going to put rain back in the forecast for your Friday. As for tonight, looking pretty nice. Temperature still hovering around 50 in downtown Spokane, in the valley, 9 Mile at 50 as well. Mostly, though, we have now dropped into the 40s now that the sun has gone down. We're not going to cool down all that much tonight. In fact, we should only end up around 40 degrees as the sun comes up in the morning. Now expect mostly cloudy skies as you're heading off to work, heading off to school. Should be good to go out on area roads. We're going to be waiting a little bit longer. In fact, it should be closer to the afternoon hours that we start to see that wet weather begin to creep up into our forecast. And then we're going to be up and down as we head through the weekend. And, well, as you can see the bottom there, Halloween going to be a little bit of an issue. So we'll take you through your extended forecast and show you a little bit about what the heck is going on out there in the Pacific to give us all this wet weather. That's coming up.
Thank you, Matt. The NTSB is now issuing an urgent aviation safety recommendation following the deadly float plane crash last month in Mutiny Bay. Take a look at this. You're looking at parts from the float plane that went down September 4th. Investigators say all float plane operators need to check the horizontal actuator lock ring to make sure it's securely clamped down to the barrel it's supposed to connect to. They say when they inspected the crash plane parts, they found that part came unscrewed and the pilot could no longer control the plane. The tragic crash killed 10 people, including Executive Director of the Carl Maxey Center, Sandy Williams, and her partner, Pat Hicks, both of Spokane. NTSB investigators recovered most of the plane in Puget Sound in the last couple of months.
A 17-year-old boy is facing up to 10 years behind bars after being convicted of dealing fentanyl on school grounds in Post Falls, causing another student to overdose. Police say they had to revive an unconscious student at Post Falls High School back in June using Narcan. They say Randy Termadin was dealing fentanyl pills at school when his classmate overdosed. He was prosecuted as an adult earlier this month. He's now spending the next year in a treatment program. After that, a judge will assess whether to put him on probation or leave him in prison for the remaining 9 years of that sentence.
Well, after having the last week off, the Washington State Cougars are back for their first of their final 5 games of the regular season and a special Thursday night game against Utah.
Alex Crescenti is in Pullman now, where the team is hoping to get back on track after dropping the last 2 games. Alex.
That's right. The Cougs are sitting at 4-3 on the season, so not great, but also not bad. And the best way to describe it is like a Rorschach test. Everyone's going to see something a little bit different at this point.
The Jake Dicker era got off to a stressful start, to say the least. The team had to escape a late scare from Idaho just to start 1-0. But after seeing what's going on in Moscow, maybe it really was a good test.
We won the game. Guys, we won a game.
However, the next week presented a much stiffer opponent in the Wisconsin Badgers, but the defense rose to the occasion, and the offense was just good enough to come out of Madison with an upset win and put the Cougs back on the national map.
Hola.
Then a win against Colorado State gave Wazoo their first 3-0 start since 2019 to wrap up the non-conference portion of their schedule. Transfer quarterback Cam Ward came into the season with a lot of hype from national media outlets, but struggled to put together complete games as the offense sputtered and the Cougs dropped 3 of their last 4. Of course, it doesn't help when 2 of your top skill position players go down with injuries. The one saving grace has been the defense, which continues to be one of the best in the country and has kept the team in all of their games. So while 4-3 isn't going to cut it to get into the college football playoff,
oh my gosh, it was so average. It was very mid.
Things certainly could be much worse, and bowl eligibility is just 2 wins away.
So this certainly feels like a pivotal point for the Cougs. There is a big difference between 5-3 and 4-4 at this point in the season. In order for the Cougs to get the win tonight, the offense is going to have to put together long scoring drives and not leave any points out on the field, hoping that the defense can bail them out time and time again, like we've seen through the first 7 games of the season. So Cam Ward and company, they're going to have to be sharp and limit the number of mistakes they make here at Martin Stadium. But for now, reporting live, I'm Alex Crescenti. Send it back to you in the studio.
Alex, thank you. Coming up on 4 News Now, Halloween is just around the corner, but some parents are worried about safety this year, so much so they want to move it. That's after the break.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
You know, I love me some good GMA in the morning. Robin, George, Michael, and GMA. Now that's how you start your day.
Good morning, America. Yep, bring your friends.
We deserve a county commissioner who will protect our rights.
But Republican Kim Please says
Our reproductive freedom should be repealed at the local level.
turning back the clock on women's rights.
We can't let that happen here.
Kim Please's agenda is too extreme for Spokane.
I trust Assistant Attorney General Chris Jordan
To respect our rights,
Protect public safety.
and fight for working families.
I trust Chris Jordan to stand up for all of us.
This is the beautiful Nissan Rogue. Check it out. Futuristic front, spacious interior, and a functional rear hatch. But beauty is only part of why we know you'll love this SUV. There's numerous safety features, driving modes for snow, off-road, sport, and even hands-free. Important rear driver assist and automatic braking systems. Plus, lane safety with blind spot detection. The Nissan Rogue is a great SUV, and our friendly dealership is a great place to test drive one. Just off Highway 95, Coeur d'Alene Nissan.
They keep us safe, put their lives on the line every day. Yet radicals want to defund the police and give criminals get-out-of-jail-free cards. That's the last thing we need. Law enforcement has a champion, Kathy McMorris Rogers. Kathy says no to defunding the police and voted to secure more funding for local police departments. Endorsed by police and sheriffs, Kathy backs the blue and they back her.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
Before all the leaves fall, there's still time to get Gutter Helmet. Gutter Helmet fits right over your existing gutters, and you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Save 15% off now. Shop local. SpokaneRainGutter.com.
Farming has always been a part of the Inland Northwest. The Washington Association of Wheat Growers is proud to bring you a tribute for our farmers.
Washington farmers provide wholesome, nutritious products, including the wheat we enjoy in cakes, cookies, crackers, bread, and noodles. A functional and efficient transportation infrastructure by way of river, rail, and highway is critical to our agriculture industry and to meet the demand for food products. Let's keep Washington moving.
A tribute for our great Inland Northwest farmers. Brought to you by the Washington Association of Wheat Growers.
Halloween is coming up. Parents are more worried about safety this year, at least in Cincinnati, Ohio. So they are going to make a plan to make trick-or-treating for weekends only, hoping to improve safety for pedestrians and drivers.
If you do it on Saturday, it kind of eliminates the traffic, the business traffic. People don't leave work early to go home, get their costumes, get their children out.
Halloween is going to be on Monday in Cincinnati, just to be clear. They're not changing it yet. But I guess the following Tuesday, council members will examine the issue of moving future Halloweens to the weekend. I have heard this argument before. I kind of understand both sides of it. I have a toddler, so I'd like for her to be able to at least walk up to a few doors, but I cannot imagine moving Halloween. That is just weird.
You can't just move Halloween.
No.
Especially the city council can't. You know what? I bet those city council members hand out boxes of raisins.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, or like the candy apples.
Don't make fun. You know there are people watching who have the raisins already prepared.
The homemade candy corn bag that is just some, like, you know, saran wrap with a twisty tie.
See, that's going to be controversial. Some people like candy corn.
Not when someone else touched it
It's
first.
either 100% plus or minus.
I don't like people touching my candy before I put it in my mouth, Matt.
Well, that's gross.
I'd rather have stickers or something. If you don't want to do candy, just give out something to keep them busy. That's better than pre-touched candy corn.
Apple slicer, too.
Oh, goodness. All right, well, no matter what day you've decided to celebrate Halloween this year, Got to know the weather, right? So that's what we are going to start off with. Before we even get to the Halloween weekend, and I know certainly maybe some adults will have some Halloween parties on Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. But here we go. So here is Friday, and we will end up with just a brief window for some showers. Now that's going to be right in the middle of the day. Mostly cloudy skies, might even see a little bit of sun come back out again for Friday evening, and then we are off into the weekend. Beautiful afternoon with more 50s. Now, our brief interruption in the otherwise nice weather is because of this. You can see it looks like a fire hose basically over BC and northwestern Washington. That's right, it's atmospheric river season. These storms tapping into deep tropical moisture there in the yellow and red colors, and well, take it all to the north, and if you're at the end of the fire hose, you end up with quite a bit of rain, at least for us. Even quite a bit of rain as it gets over the mountains, even though it's not quite what they're seeing on the coast. And we have 2 of these over the next few days. Number 1 comes through, doesn't bring us all that much. That's going to be for tomorrow. And then as we head into Sunday and Monday, much bigger atmospheric river comes in. It's going to crank up the moisture content and crank up our chances for rain as well. So let's look further ahead here over the next few days. So this is tomorrow morning, a chance for places like Colville, Republic, Chewelah, into Pend Oreille County as well to start to see some showers as we get our day started. This is about 10 in the morning. Let's fast forward into the early part of the afternoon, so kind of wrapping up the lunch hour. That's when we're going to start to see perhaps a sprinkle or 2 in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. As this moisture continues to track to the south, it's going to lose a lot of its power. So we may just only end up with a lunchtime sprinkle around the metro, and then you can see it fades out really quickly. Saturday should be mostly dry and looks like a great day to spend some time outside. Just keep in mind that maybe 1 or 2 showers may pop up south of Interstate 90 in the afternoon. We should have enough instability in the atmosphere to get at least a couple of sprinkles going. Sunday, a bit of a different story. Great start, and so we think most of Sunday is going to be pretty nice, but the next storm comes in. And, well, you can see as it moves to the south here, we're going to end up right in the center of that fire hose from Mother Nature. And so here we go. By Sunday night, it is raining pretty good, and it's going to stay that way through the majority of Halloween. Now, the thing about these atmospheric rivers is we don't have to worry too much about snow. So if you are traveling this weekend, shouldn't be too big of an issue. Snow levels are going to stay up around that 6,000 foot mark, which takes most of our passes out of the snow zone and into rain. As for temperatures for tonight, still a few spots down towards freezing. Deer Park gets down to 32. Most of us still very mild tonight, only about 40 degrees or so. And our highs will be quite comfortable into the middle 50s around the metro. Could even see a few spots get up to around 57, 58, like 9 miles. So overall, with the exception of that little sprinkle, not a bad end to the week. Here's your weekend. Yeah, got to keep an eye on things for Sunday. And once the weekend is over, well, the rain and maybe other forms of precipitation just keep on going through the middle portion of the week. We're going to look at a big cool down by the time we get to about a week from now.
Matt, thank you. If you need some last-minute spooky decor, or maybe some props for your Halloween costume, Petunia and Loomis might have what you're looking for. The Oddities store in downtown Spokane is known for selling strange and unusual items, things like animal bones, antique trinkets, tarot cards, a lot more. Store manager Jesse McCauley says he and his fiancée Samantha have collected some of these bizarre items for more than 15 years.
Every day you come in, you're going to find something new, and it takes a couple laps around the store to really see everything, and even then you're still going to miss something.
McCauley says the community has embraced the store since it opened at the start of the year, but there's definitely been more curious customers this spooky season. You can shop at Petunia and Loomis every day through Halloween to see their special Halloween hours. And more about the store, just find this story on KXLY.com. And here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
In America, we have a pressure from every quarter trying to destroy the opportunity for people to be able to build their own futures. We see an economy that has gone from the strongest economy that we have seen to one in which we have raging inflation. Our borders must be protected. We are seeing unprecedented entry, 2 million illegal entries, with the drugs and the violence that comes with it. I'm going to fight to make sure that we stop those problems. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message.
Turn up the heat. The Commodores live. A musical experience you won't forget. November 10th at Coeur d'Alene Casino. Get tickets now at cdacasino.com. 70 million albums sold. 7 #1 hits. The Grammy Award-winning Commodores.
Meet your local essential workers.
What I like about the UFCW 3000 is for the benefits that make our lives better.
They make sure that we have secured pension and retirement.
I can work part-time and still maintain my health care coverage.
I don't see myself going anywhere else because of UFCW 3000 benefits and wages.
Thanks, UFCW 3000.
Support local essential workers who live in and support our community. Go to ufcw3000.org to learn more.
It's time. Time to set your eyes free. Free from limitations in your vision. Free from glasses and contacts. Free to see your best and be your best. It's time to smile. Smile is state-of-the-art laser vision correction, or LVC for short. Smile is easy on the eyes. It's bladeless, flapless, and effortless.
Contact Empire Eye Physicians today to learn more about Smile, the new alternative to LASIK.
September 7th was horrible.
All hell broke loose.
80% of the town lost their homes.
My family's home burned to the ground. It was just heartbreaking. Kathy was there for us.
Not taking political sides.
She's done a lot.
Put her name on the line to help here.
Kathy helped us start the journey to rebuilding.
She went above and beyond. She genuinely, actually cares.
I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers, and I approve this message.
More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
There's a few stories trending across social media right now. The rapper formerly known as Kanye West has lost partnerships with global fashion brands following anti-Semitic comments he's made in recent weeks. After Adidas cut ties with the rapper, Forbes now estimates Ye is no longer a billionaire. West has remained defiant, saying he doesn't regret his comments. Now social media companies have restricted his accounts, and a once loyal fan base is abandoning him.
Speaking of social media, some breaking news for Twitter right now. Elon Musk has completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter and fired 3 top executives. Musk has previously said he doesn't want the platform to be a free-for-all where anything can be said with no consequences, adding that he also wants to trim content restrictions and end permanent bans on accounts for users who repeatedly broke Twitter's rules. To learn more on either of these stories, just visit KXLY.com.
Previous reports that the U.S. economy was already in recession appear to be incorrect.
The GDP shows the economy grew 2.6% in the third quarter. That's better than economists expected. Marking the first quarter this year, the U.S. economy has actually grown.
ABC's M. Wynn has the latest from Washington.
The U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 2.6% in the third quarter, better than economists expected, according to the Gross Domestic Product report out today.
Great economic report today, the GDP report. Things are looking good.
This new snapshot of the American economy is a sharp reversal from the last 2 quarters, where the nation's GDP shrunk 1.6% in the first quarter and 0.9% in the second quarter.
One definition of a recession is 2 back-to-back quarters of economic declines. However, the body that oversees and officially calls whether or not we're in a recession looks at additional factors.
Those factors include the jobs market, which has generated 3.8 million jobs this year, and experts say is still historically strong, as well as the unemployment rate, which sits at 3.5%, near historic lows. Consumer spending rose by 0.4%, but was down 0.1% from the previous quarter.
Look at what we were spending on. It was things like travel, hotels, experiences, not so much the things we were all buying during the pandemic.
Mortgage rates have also more than doubled in the last year, hitting 7.08%, the highest in 2 decades, with new home sales dramatically slowing. But inflation, though down from this summer, still averaging 8.2%, near 40-year highs. And after 5 consecutive interest rate hikes this year to lower inflation, the Federal Reserve is still warning those hikes could bring pain in the form of higher unemployment and possibly a recession.
Economists are predicting a recession in the next 12 months, but one that could be weak and less long than typical.
The Federal Reserve is still expected to raise interest rates another 0.75 of a percentage point next week. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
This season, fall into Coeur d'Alene. Fall is a great time to visit Coeur d'Alene. With awesome weather, fall color cruises, exciting events, a variety of food, beer, and wine selections, and amazing accommodations. It's the perfect time to stay and play in CDA. Visit cdafall.com for more information.
There's a clear choice for Senate. While Tiffany Smiley stood with Mitch McConnell and the big drug companies to oppose lowering the cost of prescription drugs, Patty Murray is busy working for us.
I worked with Democrats and Republicans to ban surprise medical bills, and I led the fight to pass legislation to lower the cost of prescription drugs, including capping insulin at $35 a month. I'm Patty Murray. I approve this message to focus on what really matters, you.
That smile, Matthew Perry. Now he's ready to tell the story behind that smile.
Secrets kill people like me.
You said there were 6 friends, and one of them was sick.
Yeah.
Friday night at 8/7 Central on ABC.
Considering selling your RV? R&R wants it. Tired of paying storage fees? R&R needs it. Just don't use it anymore? R&R will buy it. Due to a critical shortage of pre-owned RVs, R&R RV is currently paying absolute top dollar for your used RV. Any year, any make, any model. Turn your RV into cash or flip it for a newer model. So if you no longer use it or want it, let R&R RV buy it. Visit the R&R RV Superstore in North Spokane or call Ryan at 509-244-5888.
It's time for change. It's time to heal the division in our state. As a representative of the people, I will fight for free enterprise and protect small business from the overreaching runaway government. I feel strongly that my skills and experience developed from my professional career are desperately needed in Olympia. It's time for less overreach and more freedom. I'm Suzanne Schmidt for 4th District Representative, Republican.
Haunted house creeps. Next, Inside Edition. They're hired to scare you to death during Halloween. But could some of them be monsters in real life?
Is this man a predator? Absolutely.
Then, inside the world of female bodybuilder competitions. Watch the next Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7.
Coming up on Nightside, Elon Musk called Tesla's autopilot feature, quote, probably better than a human driver. But a criminal investigation of the company following several fatal crashes might say otherwise. Plus, officials are telling residents of Hawaii's Big Island to prepare for a possible volcanic eruption. Those stories tonight at 11 o'clock.
Oh, boy. On Hawaii. Going to be an issue there. All right, as we head through tonight, 40s, and as we get into the morning, well, going to be fairly mild. We'll stay not moving too much as far as temperatures go. That little brief window of showers right around lunchtime. Otherwise, should be another fairly dry day. Saturday as well. Most of us going to be staying dry. It's going to be as we head into Sunday night that things start to get a little bit squirrely. Windy weather and some wet weather that's going to spread across a large majority of the inland Northwest. And that's going to carry right on into Halloween. Probably want to have the costume-safe umbrellas ready now in case this lingers on into Tuesday.
That is a good point. And maybe those umbrellas that look like a bubble, you can see right through.
That's because you want one of those.
That is what I want.
They go all the way down in and just look down.
I wanted one of those last week, and we were talking about ordering one. Still haven't done it yet.
You should. Then you can show everyone how it works on set.
Oh, that would be great.